Good evening, everyone. My wife makes all the fun videos that show how to use the quilting. I make all the geeky videos that show how the software operates and all that good stuff. So, purpose of this video is upgrading QCT4. Quite specifically, my wife discovered an issue with the software within the last few days, and come to find out there is an upgrade, an update that needs to be made to the software. So what I'm going to do in this video is show how to go about making that update. So I've got the whole system powered up here. I got the lights on and the sewing machine and everything powered up. First thing I'm going to do, there's a couple of things I need to do before I initiate the update. First thing I want to do is disconnect the QCT4 tablet from the QNeek machine. We don't want it trying to connect in and trying to do stuff while the software is updating. So I've disconnected it at the moment. And I just pulled the cable out on the end. The other thing I want to do is, if you look at the happy little airplane in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, this has been pretty much in airplane mode, this tablet, since the day I installed it. So I'm going to take it out of airplane mode. I'm just going to click the airplane. Now let's click the airplane. Hit the right icon. There we go. So as an airplane mode, I'm going to turn it off. And now the Wi-Fi is turned on, and hopefully this thing is going to connect to the Wi-Fi in this house. And it's connecting, it's working on it. I think we're good to go. So now we're connected to the internet. So with those two things available, and I'm probably gonna get a bunch of messages because this thing has been disconnected probably for the last, forgive me, I'm just gonna disconnect this. Probably for the last several months, it's probably got several updates that Windows wants to make. So I'm gonna let Windows kind of do that while this QCT4 update's taking place. So I'm gonna fire up the QCT4 software. There we go. Okay. I clicked that a couple times there. Let me cancel this. And I think I'll stick with this one. So, all right. So they can't connect to the automated quilting system, of course, because I pulled the cable out. So I'm just going to click OK and let the thing run in simulation mode. So I'll click OK. And be sure to connect the cable when disconnect the cable when in simulation mode. I've already done that. We'll click OK. We'll let this thing fire up. You'll see that I'm currently running version 4.01.60. If I do this all correctly, I should have a different version when all said and done. Okay, so I've got my main screen up here. What I'm going to do is click on Help. And within Help, I'm going to click on Software Management. All right, you'll see that I've got three options on the screen, one of which is Check for Updates. So let's check for updates. What would I like to do? What I'm going to do is, I've already experimented with this once before on a laptop, so I think I'm pretty safe in doing this. I'm going to update now from online files. So let me click that first option, and you'll see that select to begin updating. The new version is going to be 4.01.73. So that's the version I want to pull in. So I'm going to click the little box next to that. And are you ready to proceed with the download? I think I am. I'm going to say yes. And now you see the thing is going to chug away here, and it's downloading a file to the system. We'll let this thing go through its paces here. Do I want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Yes, I do, because I do know the publisher. It's the Grace Company. Click OK. And it says, Welcome to the Quilter's Creative Touch Setup Wizard. And you'll see this will install QCT Update 4.01.73 on your computer. I'll click Next. You get the all gibberish for the license agreement, which I know I should be a good person and read, but I didn't read it when I first set the software up. I'm probably not going to read it now. So I'm just going to click the whole I accept the agreement, and then click Next. Setup will install into the following folder. This is the same folder, this folder called C:"powered by QuiltCAD that it created when I first installed. I'm going to stick with the same folder name, so I'm going to click Next. It's going to say the folder already exists. Would you like to install to that folder anyway? I don't see why not, so I'm going to say yes. So then I'm going to click Next. I want setup to create a desktop icon. I'm going to say yes. I don't know if I have to do this or not. I'm going to see what it does. So I'm going to say create a desktop icon and click Next. All right, so then I'm going to do install. And bear with me, there is a cat who wants to participate in the video here. So if you hear him in the background, he's just starved for attention. Getting near the end. Okay, completed the Quilter's Creative Touch Setup Wizard. Click Finish to exit setup. We'll click Finish. Okay, now you'll see that I've got the icon that's already lit up here. This is the one that was originally on the screen when I first started it. The other one is a new one that just got installed directly above it. So I'm going to click the one directly above it. We'll just make sure it works. Now it says loading, and now when you start it for the first time, it's going to do all kinds of stuff to set things up. We're going to create directory structure and versioning and all the stuff it did initially when we set this thing up. So we'll let it do its thing, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, this process takes a few minutes. It's relatively simple and straightforward. Of course, that being said, hopefully we don't have any issues. Okay. The USB drivers must be loaded to control the hardware. This is a one-time process only. So let's see what happens here. So I'm going to say load drivers. It's telling me that the load drivers button will come up. The file explorer will open. It tells me to click on a certain file, the CDM21216. And then follow the driver loader prompts, and then close File Explorer. So, all right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to load drivers. We'll hit that. And here's the file it wants me to click on, so I'm going to click on this file. And do I want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Yes, I do. And now it's going to extract version 2.12.16 of FTDI's Windows driver package. All kinds of gibberish that I really don't care about, so I'm just going to say extract. That went fairly quick. Welcome to the Device Driver Installation Wizard. We'll click Next. Again, I'm going to accept the agreement. If you watched my original video, well, I'll just click Next. Watch my original video when I first installed this thing. It pretty much went through these exact same steps. So I've got a screen that says completing the device driver installation. Click Finish. I'm going to click on Finish. And let's see what happens here. Probably not a whole lot. Looks like it's done. So to do that, it says close this window when I'm finished. That was the initial screen. I'll click the X and close that out. I've completed the driver load process, so I'll click OK. And I'll click OK to restart the program. All right, so we're loading. And we're going through. We are unable to connect to the automated quilting system. So what I'm going to do is plug my cable back into the tablet. All right, so now I'm connected back into the Q14. Now I'm going to click OK. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to click Cancel and restart the program. So we're going to load. Make sure the needle is up and move the carriage to the center of the sewing area. The needle is up. We'll click OK. Select Yes to continue with the firmware upgrade. I'm going to do that. Please turn the sewing machine off for firmware updates. So, bear with me while I walk around to the back of the machine and actually switch it off. By the way, there's the cat. Hi, cat. We'll come back around. The sewing machine is off. The carriage is on. I've done both of those. So I'm going to click OK. Press the firmware update button on the side of your lower carriage. Okay, so I need to move the machine out of the way here, and the firmware update button, it shows exactly where it is, and what I'm going to have to do is walk around the machine so I can actually see what the button is I have to push. And so if I get right down here, forgive me while I tilt this, the button I believe is this thing right here. It's next to all the cords. I'm going to push it. I pushed it. Now I'm going to step over the cat, walk back around to the front of the machine, and press OK. And you'll see it's updating the motor driver for the carriage. So we'll let this process take a few minutes here to do that. Okay, power cycle the motor carriage and then turn the sewing machine back on. So what that means is I'm going to walk around to power cycle the carriage. Basically, it's to shut it off. And we actually run the whole thing off of the power strip that's on the back. So I'm going to shut the power strip off. So effectively it shuts the carriage off. I always like to wait a second or two here. Once I do that, I'm going to turn the carriage back on. And you'll see the carriage is waking up. I'm also going to switch the sewing machine back on. We'll turn that on here. Okay, sewing machine is on. I've got a lot of exercise walking around this thing. Walk back to the front. I have power cycled the motor carriage and turned the sewing machine back on. Click OK. Have you power cycled the motor carriage? Yes, I have. The program is now shut down. You will need to restart it. All right. I'll turn it off. Program is shut down. Back up to the screen. Let's restart. All right, we're loading once again. Make sure the needle is up and move the carriage to the center of the sewing area. Now you'll note my version is now up to 4.0173. So the update appears to have taken place. Motor firmware is current. That's all nice and happy. And now it looks like I am up and running with the new version of QCT4. If I, just to double check, I like to do this. I'm going to click the help. I'm going to click about. Okay, and I see that I am now running version 4.0173. So the update did appear to take successfully. I'm also just going to double check sewing machine information. I just want to make sure nothing changed there. And I am still set up as the Quilt Motion QNeek 14 Plus. So it saved all that information from the previous time when I installed the software. So I should be good to go. Everything is fine. So I'm going to just close this all out. Click OK there. I'm going to hit exit and get out of this thing. The update has taken place. I told it to create a new icon when I did the install. Basically, I created the new one up here. Just for grins, this was the old icon down below. If I just go ahead and double click this, I just want to see what happens. Oh, okay. It says this item has been changed. It will no longer work properly. Do you want to delete it? I'm going to say yes, simply because I know I've created the new install. So I should be good there. So I don't need this old one anymore. So I'll say yes. Click on that. The icon went away. I'm just going to move this icon down a little bit, only because the way my wife had this machine set up before, she had it moved down. So I've now got it in the right position. I'm just going to double check once more. If I double click on the QCT4, we are loading version 4073. Well, that's interesting. They're unable to connect to the automated quilting system. It talks about power cycling the carriage, clicking cancel, and restarting the program. All right, so let me just do this. I'm going to cancel. We're going to walk around once more. This didn't do this before, so I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Again, I'm going to power cycle the carriage. Actually, I'm going to do both. Let me shut the machine off first. I've turned the machine off. I'm going to turn off the carriage. All right, the carriage is turned off, and you heard the tablet tink that it doesn't know it's there anymore. So I'll turn the carriage back on. And the carriage is up and running here. Let's get the machine turned on. Machine's all lit up now. Make sure we're doing this right. I'm going to once more click Quilter's Creative Touch. We're loading 4073. Make sure the needle is up and move the carriage to the center of the sewing area. That should be the case. All right, the carriage seems happy. Checking the firmware, what it normally does, managing keys, getting notifications, loading images, and we should finally be good to go. So, and you'll see at the top of the screen, we now got the correct version 4.0173. So those are the steps you need to follow to actually update the QCT4 software. We should be good to go. The update is done, so let me just exit out here. One thing that you'll probably want to do at some point, and I think I can do this from here. Actually, I need to go into the Start menu. If I go into Settings, what I want to do is essentially turn airplane mode back on. And so if I go to Network, wake that up, and go to airplane mode, and turn airplane mode on, it's turned on. And so basically this gets my machine back to the state it was in before. I've got airplane mode turned on. Bottom line is, the update is done. You should be good to go. Any questions, just send us a message. Janet and I will be more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you so much for your time, and happy quilting. Take care. Bye.